All right, well, hello everyone, and welcome back to Growing Up Alien. We have a kind of an exciting meeting update tonight. We have Anita with us. Erica is a little under the weather as she's still recovering from, a very serious condition. But she has a message for us tonight, and hopefully she'll be well enough one day this week to come on as well. Hello, Anita.
Hi, hello again.
We also
My
have
first,
Iko. I forgot we also have Iko with us. She's like, you forgot. I'm like,
yeah, I was not expecting to be back so quickly again, but there is a lot happening, and that's what I want to share. Hopefully next time also with Erica, but so we'll fill in.
absolutely, we're filling in.
Yeah, much love and healing to Erica, and
Yeah, it's
yeah,
yeah, when you're like that, it takes a bit to.
okay, yeah, okay. So we want to give you an overview. What do we want to talk about? Um, We want to talk about the Starseed Envoy program, the Envoy program and direct contact and the great message, the great news. And then let me break it down a little bit for those of you who have never, maybe it's the first time you're watching Andrea's channel or hearing about Starseeds and Starseed Envoys or what means an envoy.
Yes,
Uh,
we had a request from from one of our members to have a little more information on that. So yeah.
Yeah. So, and here are my little notes, just that you know. Yeah. So first we want to define envoys. Okay. What are envoys? Then second, the envoy program. Third, we want to talk about soul contracts and paper contracts. Fourth, we're gonna talk about Starseed Addendum. Four, why has there been so many delays regarding real disclosure and first/direct contact? Fifth, we want to talk about the great news. Direct contact is coming soon. What does that mean? Sixth, we want to talk about benefits, compensation, and rewards for envoys. Seventh, how do we know? Where do we get our information? Number eight, my dream. What do I see for our planet? Nine, what's next? And then we'll have a closure. Famous last words from us. Okay. And Ika, you're invited anytime to chime in.
Oh, he does.
And he does. So I'm super excited that he's also joining us. Okay, good. So then let's get into it. So what do we mean by envoys, starseed envoys? I think the easiest way to explain this and the envoy program is, so they're envoys, people who were sent, who were not from here, who are not from here, off planet, and they come here to this planet for a specific mission, right? The name envoy says somebody, ein Gesandter. By the way, yes, I'm German. Andrea said it's okay if I in between maybe say
I
a few words.
say some German. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Abgesandter, envoy, who come here for a certain mission. Most of us have families upstairs, and we'll explain also what upstairs is. Um, and we have also even envoys in the inner earth, and we'll talk about that later more, um, who are also connected to people who are not Terrans here, surface population, let's say. And what is interesting about these envoy programs is that they all have a partner. Most of them have a spouse, a twin flame. Most of them are married, some have family, and they are still, let's say, upstairs, right, off planet or even inner earth. So specifically, that's when we continue talking about envoys, I would like to include also inner earth envoys, you know. And I know specifically one star seed, and she's not a star seed. She's a
I know
soul
it's
seed
hard.
of mine. Exactly. I always say star seed, but we will include also the inner earth envoys. Okay. And she has visions, portal opening up. She can see her husband, her beloved twin flame. Showed us pictures. He looks, when you think about Lord of the Rings, like I forgot the name. Anyhow, but this is real. Do you, before we move on, Andrea, do you want to add to that? And then I'm going to explain more the Starseed Envoy
Yeah.
program.
Well, I think you made a good point there, and I think we see that where there's a problem when we talk about inner Earth. So the correct term is envoy. The humans, the Terrans, well, humans, the Terrans then came up with the term starseed. So
Right.
we use starseed for search engine optimization, so
Right.
that and we use word like I'll use Arcturian instead of Ohori because nobody knows what that is. Like I'll use Pleiadian sometimes instead of being a Hell or Tal or something because no one's searching for that. So
Right.
they told me when I first put this channel up because I fought it and I didn't want to make the channel because I don't believe in social media. And they're like, no, you have to use the methods of where you are and the terms and the tricks and all that stuff in order to, so you need to do that. So I'm like, all right. So I will do that occasionally, even though I say what there's no such thing as a what's a Pleiadian. We don't use the word Pleiadian. I mean,
Right.
and it's always kind of a red flag. Although I will use it, I do use it, and they told me to do these things in order for people to find this information.
Yes.
So that is
Yes.
envoy is the correct term. We do not use the term starseed upstairs, although we do now because people use this term. So what that is
Exactly.
the Aaron term. So envoy wouldn't therefore incorporate both the people who are on the ships and other planets and under across in Earth as well.
Right. And maybe add to that, I think just a little personal information for those of you who are watching us for the first time. Andrea, do you want to just share quickly? I mean, you walk in and where you're from, and then I'll share about
Yeah.
me.
So that isn't so when I'm an envoy, just like you are, and just like everybody else would be. I'm a walk-in, so I wasn't born on Earth. I walked in. I was born on Era, and I walked into a body that was, I think, around 2 years old. So whoever was the whatever consciousness was occupying that body that was born here, left, and then I came into that body.
Right. And Era is, a planet in the Pleiadian system. And right. And your wonderful husband, Ika.
He's also in hell.
Yeah, and he's an ET, and he's now here serving in the military.
Yes.
Exactly. And yeah, and I am, my last incarnation or previous incarnation. We are multidimensional beings, okay? And we're in different densities is from a Tal Pleiadian, Taal. Um, and my husband is upstairs. So when we mean upstairs, we talk about very specifically the Galactic Federation of Worlds. They have these huge battle stations. So in the ship where many are right now, there are benevolent ETs, helping, working with the Earth Alliance, secret space programs such as Solar Warden, the Whiteheads, you name it, to help shift, liberate the planet from the regressive extraterrestrial dominion. Um, and we're here to help now. That's why we came in also to raise the consciousness. And yeah, so my contact, my twin flame husband is upstairs. And I know several people, many who have a similar situation. One is down here, the other one is upstairs and helping. And there's a whole, like in a military organization, there is the whole hierarchy, to the admiral level. And they're all doing, very specific jobs to get this mission done. And we came here for this mission, and I'll talk more about it in a minute when I read this, what I wrote, the Starseed Envoy agreement, addendum, not agreement. Okay, so cool. I think then we explained this so far pretty well. Um, and oh yeah, and then maybe just one thing, Andrea and I was talking about, for people to understand dimensions.
Mhm.
There are, ETs upstairs who are in the fourth dimension. On
Density.
my, you know,
Density. That would be density.
I'm sorry, density. I'm sorry. Yes, thank you for correcting me. I still mix it up sometimes. Yeah, fourth density. Apparently, my husband and I, we are fifth density, but we don't want to go into there what that means. My German starseed best friend, and she's my main contact also to upstairs. She's from the sixth density. Maybe it's going to be another video. Alex Collier, right? He explained a little bit what is the difference between 4D, 5D, but that would take up too much time right now. you
Yeah.
know.
That also applies to the inner Earth people because they are 4 and
Thank
5D.
you. Thank you for reminding.
And then you
Exactly.
have the dimensions are they're like strata, like on a rock. So the dimensions are stacked upon. Yeah. So that's dimensions are different than densities.
Okay. There's this thing, right? When you think about high rises, okay,
Yes.
separate high rises, right? And then the density would be, let's say, 3D, and then you have the dimensions up there. Or can you explain another high rise would be 4D? Or would you say
Yes.
the other way around? And then 5D is a separate one, it's stacked up. Apparently, our universe has up to 12 densities, right? And they're adding another one, 13th.
Yeah.
Yeah, very complex, fascinating topic. Anyhow, we are all still physical. So, to my knowledge, I think it's starting at the 10th dimension when these entities are not physical anymore. They are
11th,
plasma.
yeah. 11th, high 10th, 11th, yeah.
Right. And I was told from upstairs, apparently, my star origin, since separation from source, okay, we all come from source. And what is the first origin where how you incarnated, what kind of form? And again, it's the multidimensional aspect. Apparently, my husband and I were from the 10th dimension, um, plasmoid being before incarnating. But the plasmoid being already has a shape somewhat. It's not just a blob, you know? So it's very fascinating stuff. Anyhow, okay. Yeah, so I hope we maybe more questions will come after that, but at least give you a little bit more information. Good. Okay, then let's talk about the Starseed Envoy program. Now, before we go into that, I would like to give you a little bit of a backstory. I found out about that I have contact a husband upstairs last July. I was shocked. And my let's just call her S, okay? My amazing Starseed Envoy sister S. I don't want to say her name. She's from Germany. At some point, she might come on. She's very well connected, and she was the one who built the bridge, right? For me. Oh, wow, there is somebody upstairs. She has her husband upstairs. She helped other, envoys in our German little community to connect to. Some have wives. It depends. It doesn't matter, same sex, different sex, whatever, but there's a twin flame, okay? And then I was excited, but I got frustrated that I wanted to have direct contact. I wanted to be able to talk to him telepathically. And it's been so difficult for most of us, It's easier for you, Andrea, but still you do the telepath thing, right? And you talked a lot about telepathing and you gave us a great tips for direct contact. That's how I loved your videos, when I found you through Rebecca Rose, I'm like, oh my gosh, yeah. Great tips and great videos you did. Also with Rika together. Okay, so now let's explain the program. So I was very unhappy, very frustrated, and I wanted to do something. So I got the idea and I was very upset because I found out we all signed contracts. Okay, we signed an agreement before we incarnated or came in here, but we're not allowed to see the contracts. And I said, I'm done. I want to see the freaking contract, right? And then they couldn't, show me, but I found out I came in. There are different ways how a Starseed Envoy, and that's the Envoy program, can come into Earth. I came in through the Galactic Federation of Worlds and through secret space programs for very specific missions. This is all I know, and it now helps me looking back at my life, connect the dots. And we had an interview before, Andrea and I, and that's where we also talk a little bit more in depth about some of this, right? And you came in through a specific mission.
I came in through the Intergalactic Confederation.
Okay, you came in through the Intergalactic Confederation. And then I know from some of my people, my sisters, Envoy sisters, let's just say, they came in through the Council of Zagara.
Yes.
There are different councils. There's a lot of information out there on the internet. You can research that. But otherwise, we're going to talk for the next 5 hours about all of them. this for several missions, okay? And also know two women in my envoy community. They say technically they're not envoys. They came in they call it voluntarily, but not because they're connected to a mission or program. More as observers, watchers, but also they have pretty high frequency holding the light or whatever, holding higher consciousness. Let's say that. Yeah. Um, Okay, so now back to that. I was so frustrated. I said, I want to see the contract, and every contract can be changed or discussed and negotiated. That's what I learned also from my business background. It's common sense. Are you kidding me? And if you don't like a contract, maybe you can cancel it. And there was all this big secrecy about it. No, we can show you. And like, who signed this? Why am I not allowed to talk directly to my husband? Why am I not allowed to meet my family? Why is it not coming down here? I was very upset. And and there is a stage of, how can you turn, being frustrated and angry into constructive action. And then I had the idea. I said, okay, if they don't gonna show me the contract, I'm gonna write an addendum to the Starseed Envoy agreement, which I'm still not aware of what I had signed, you know, and including secret space program contracts, agreements. And yeah, and first let me explain the program. We're now bouncing a little bit back and forth, and then we'll talk more about soul contracts and paper contracts. What's the difference? We can touch on that briefly as well. Okay, but let me explain to those people who are listening to the first time, what is an envoy? What is a Starseed Envoy program? So I got this, I know it came from somewhere, this idea, and I'm sure the words just came to me. I was writing it down. There was certainly I was tapping into wherever it came from, probably from my family upstairs, the words, and I just wrote them down. Okay, and I wrote this Starseed Envoy. It consists of two parts. Okay, the intention of this addendum is to foster and enable the reunion between starseed envoys, walk-ins on Terra with their spouses, significant others, and star families off planet and on Terra. I'm adding now inner Earth. Okay, so we want to make a change here. We are done just waiting and waiting and waiting. Okay. And the first part of the addendum is I explain the situation because I signed this thing and I sent it upstairs. I asked my husband to take it upstairs. They've seen it already. And I'm going to read it now for everybody, for all of you. Andrea is so kind to give me that time space to do this because it's so important. The first part is we explain the situation, and the second part is our demands. What is it that we want? What are we asking for? The positive changes we want to see. And then again, I signed it. And this is now version 4.0. So I did the first in October. And I got feedback from 3 of my Envoy sisters. So I also included that in the first draft. And then we were told, we presented it, and we have these Zoom calls, and my Envoy sister S, she is directly telepathing, like you're telepathing with Ika, upstairs with her husband, with my husband, and there were 2 other husbands there as well from the other 2 women, on that call. And then we were told this is not necessary anymore. And this was in October. And I was ready to start a revolution. Okay. Okay. Now, October, months going by, nothing happened. I got more and more frustrated. I did 2 or 3 more versions. And then Andrea and I don't know when did we meet? Was it January or December? I don't remember.
Or then.
Yeah, maybe before, maybe November.
Yeah,
Anyhow,
November around that time. Yeah. Yeah.
yeah, and I was super excited, and it's important. That's why I'm sharing it a little bit in more detail, because then I grabbed it again. I got it out of my computer. It was just lying there, I was super frustrated, and I updated it. I made an update, and then the amazing thing happened when I was gonna send it to Andrea. I tried to open the file. I opened it and I found a document that was, to me, it looked corrupted. There were words missing. Maybe I can hold it into the camera.
It comes out kind
Yeah,
of weird.
hold-
It won't.
probably.
Yeah, it doesn't pick it up.
No, it doesn't pick it up. Okay. So,
Yeah.
but maybe Andrea, there's a way that you can share this PDF document in whatever form on social
I don't know
media.
because you can't share them on YouTube
I
like that.
don't know. Yeah, but that's why I'm
But on
reading.
a website or something, I could share it.
Yeah, exactly, exactly. Right. But what was so amazing, and I'm telling you two things, and this is for me another proof. I have many more data points that my husband, let's just call him A. I don't want to say his name, okay? A. That A is upstairs. He is real. There's so many data points. We collect them over time because, I'm a critical thinker. I question things, over and over again, doubting things and so forth, okay? Now, there were two things that happened. Initially, I forgot to mention, when I wrote this draft, it was really, I just sat down on the computer and I was just typing the words coming to me. And then I wrote down the demand, and I will tell you later when I read it to you. I wrote down my demands, and all of a sudden, I was just for a minute, I don't know, a minute, I turned away from my computer, Word document open, try to, I don't know, do whatever and get a tissue, whatever, paper tissue. And all of a sudden, I turn back and I see the words, "That's awesome." And I can tell you, I was speechless. I'm like, what? I didn't type. That's awesome. And I was not dictating, AI was not on, I was not talking to myself. And I was like, oh my gosh, that's crazy. And it made sense to me. That was him. He, together, we were creating the initial Starseed addendum draft. These words appeared on my computer in Word document. That's awesome. And I'll read it to you later so you get the whole picture. That was number one. Then back to what I was sharing, maybe it was November, I grabbed the Starseed Addendum document and I was excited. I met Andrea and I felt there's a lot of alignment, in the same team. We want to, make now these positive changes here. We're fed up with what's been going on and also how the envoys have been treated and so forth. And then I opened a Word document and I said, oh no, maybe I have a computer virus. The document was butchered, basically, right? There were words missing. It was, instead of 3 pages, it was just, right, this one page and holes in it. And I'm like, oh my God, I lost it. I was like, no, 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 this is crazy. What is this? And then fortunately I found the last version and I updated it, sent it to Andrea. But I was like, what happened to my computer? My first thought was, okay, let's just say the dark side, okay? Did they go into my computer? Did they mess with my documents and try to destroy what I created, or we upstairs? And then a day later, and that's how when you get these thoughts, this intuition, I said, maybe let me look at it again. What is this? Was this really a virus or what happened?
And
And then, huh?
a secret editor.
Exactly. I love that. A secret galactic editor. And I'll read it to you later. I want to still follow our little outline here, our agenda, okay? But he basically took my document, deleted, and he might have been in a rush because there's one typo in here, the Andrew Union, but he deleted everything else that was not needed. He left only the essence. And do you guys know why I know this was not a freaking virus? Because there were 4 words he included, which I did not have in the original document, like the beloved ones. There were words that was not in the original document. That was not AI. That was not a virus. Impossible. And then I also realized, oh my gosh, he is doing the same thing, the Starseed Addendum. I wrote it from our perspective here on Terra, the envoys. He wrote it from his perspective, how the families, I'm just getting chills, and our he calls them the beloved ones, the spouses, the families upstairs and inner earth, okay, how they're looking at it and so and how they feel about it. Because initially I didn't understand. I was mad at everybody. Like, who did that to me? This is so unfair, blah, blah, blah. You know, Anyhow, yeah, so that was fascinating. And I'll read it to you. But now let's go back. So we want to talk about what is the Envoy program. Okay, I'll read it to you. This is the situation. Star seeds. I just say star seeds, okay? Or shall I just say, no, it's okay. This is how the text is here, okay? Star seeds have agreed to leave their star families, spouses, significant others, and children to fulfill a specific mission on Terra, either through incarnating into a human body or as a walk-in. These missions have mostly been related to the liberation of Terra and the evolution of consciousness to prepare Terrans to become mature galactic citizens. They needed to be executed in an interdimensional war-like setting on a prison planet with harsh conditions. The Starseed agreements, such as the Envoy programs, were made prior to their incarnation or appearance on Terra. They were made to the best of their abilities, with the Galactic Federation of Worlds, Intergalactic Confederation, and or through other secret space programs and or other galactic councils and organizations, such as the Council of Al-Nilam Zagara. So I know 3 people who incarnated, who are here through that council, okay? The Zenatian Council, etc., Zenatian Andromedan, okay? Not knowing what each of the starseeds were going to experience and if they were able to complete their mission. And anybody, side comment, right, Angria, who says you knew exactly what you signed, what you were expecting, is completely baloney. I try to be polite in my language, okay? Not true. Impossible. Impossible. This is a free will planet, so many moving parts. Nobody could tell exactly what we went through. And I know it also from my envoy sister S, you know, a lot went completely out of control. Completely. And I'll talk about it more, explaining the Starseed Envoy program, the situation, okay? So now listen to this. In most cases, all Starseed memories were wiped prior to their arrival on Terra. Furthermore, the Starseeds' relationships were severed, resulting in a complete breakdown of any emotional connection, any direct communication, physical contact, intimacy, and such. In some cases, starseeds would meet up with their star families and significant others upstairs through teleportation and be mind wiped thereafter. Sometimes they would even beget a child unbeknownst to them. In other cases, they would have the ability to travel with their light bodies or in the astral, i.e., leaving their 3D bodies behind during those visits and returning with or without memories to cherish. Almost all Starseed missions have been extremely difficult, painful, traumatic, dangerous, and at times even life-threatening. Many did not make it because they were heavily targeted and even taken out by the dark forces, such as the, can I say it? DS
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. You can say that. Yeah.
agents,
3-letter agents, you name it.
Men in Black. I want to list some of these. Men in Black,
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
regressive. I know you did video about that as well. Regressive ETs who have been controlling their Terrans for eons. Shall we go deeper into that or just regressive ETs? Okay. Draco,
No, I mean, everybody, people are familiar. I mean, it's just basically,
race, and so forth.
yeah.
Yeah. Just
Yeah.
for people listening to the
And
first
their alliances with the
right.
military. Um,
Exactly. Exactly.
their
And
alliances with solar
alliances
work.
with and yeah, let's not go, but yeah. So I think people get the picture. Oh yeah. And then I'm listing also dark military, black ops programs, etc. So they did make it. They were either targeted
Oh, yeah.
insanely, and we all are part of that club, sadly. I'm gonna write a book, and I mean what I've targeted, I've been through, and the people you have on your show in our circle of friends, oh my goodness, this is not Erica's a sad example as well, and so forth. Okay. Now, or they committed suicide due to utter despair. They just couldn't handle it. Almost all of them were abducted, abused, tortured, and manipulated via MK Ultra practices. You can Google that if you don't know what that is. And or other dark technology interferences, such as direct energy weapons, voice to skull technology, etc., etc. Most starseeds did not know who they were, why they came, and why they had to go through so many atrocities, while their star families and beloved ones off planet were watching and in most cases not allowed or able to interfere to provide critical support and worse, any emergency crisis intervention. Thus, huge sacrifices have been made on both sides, and major damage and additional complex, chronic traumas and huge suffering was created for all concerned, day by day, week by week, month by month, and year after year. By now, many initial Starseed missions have been completed or are close to completion. From a bigger picture perspective, the dark forces, such as the deep state, have been losing their grip on the Terrans and the Starseeds for various reasons. Just watch the news. Nonetheless, not the fake news. Nonetheless, for most of the Starseeds and their beloved ones, their individual situation has not yet changed significantly for the better. Now is the time of all starseeds on Terra to awaken and to be activated, to remember who they are, to get their memories back. Even more so of those starseeds who are leading the way for Terran humans into a bright future. The activated starseeds are ready to either embark on the next stage of their mission to co-create the new, or I call it organic Earth, benevolent Earth, not a new world order, okay? Very careful with that. Create a new organic Earth together with their star families, beloved spouses, significant others, and or other benevolent extraterrestrial factions, or go home back to the stars, wherever they come from, the planets, the ships, or in Earth. However, a successful reunion and completion of the Starseed mission is not possible without the Starseeds having their memories back and being able to be in direct communication with their star families, spouses, significant others, and other beloved ones, including their friends and teams who are residing upstairs and or on Terra. So I'm also including Ika here, right?
Yep.
Yeah. So, okay. So this is the program. And now let's talk about the delays. So it's very clear what we want. We're going to talk about the demands, what we want, and the great news. Let me just make sure. But why are the delays? Why are the delays? So, yeah, okay, I'll continue. Interrupt me anytime or add to it or whatever. Yeah,
Oh.
so it's a very complex military operation. You heard it maybe from others as well. We talk about a lot of components need to be aligned upstairs, from the galactic perspective and here on Terra. We cannot list these factions. We're aware of some of them, and we cannot go into details because it's still an operation running. We know that it took for a long time, and that's why we had over and over delays. We had delays regarding direct contact and real disclosure. I personally know at least 4 times the deadline was delayed, and it looked like 100% from my, sister, Envoy Sister S, who is very well connected and part of the mission to make the shift here. And then now we also hear from Erica and Erica's husband, right? And you made different separate video so people can go back and look at that as well. Okay, maybe you want to put the links into the description, Andrea.
Yeah, we want to help the search engines find that video of
Yeah,
Erica, a major report. It was a
exactly.
big
So
shakeup, and
yes,
YouTube wouldn't promote it.
Yeah, I know, right. So that's what's very important. The video you did with Erica,
Well, that was the time we got shadow banned because the purpose of that video was to unite not only the
exactly.
Starseeds but also to create
The
move
video is
forward
called the video is called The Deliverance, right?
our
It's the
yeah.
title. Okay. And
I'll
and
put the
prior to that, a few days before was the first time I got, on a podcast and in public, stepping out as a Starseed envoy, thanks to Andrea and Erica, and I wanted to help. That's the video. Maybe you want to put that also in there, maybe a few more, so people can look in the description box and just get a little bit more information, especially those who are new to the channel. Okay, so now, yeah, complex military operation, many factions need to be aligned. Green light was needed from many, many different. You just think about it. Also, the organizations who sent their envoys here. Okay, we just listed a few, and then we're still here, in the process of, removing the deep state and all others. So it's been very complex. And now it looks like we are getting very, very close. And we'll talk about that in a minute. Very close to direct contact. And we're talking about real full disclosure that we are not alone and that there are benevolent ETs. And we are now getting our sovereignty back on the planet. We will be helped. Okay, so now back to, so I don't want to miss anything. So these are the delays, and it's been nerve-wracking to say the least, as we know, right? And in this addendum, I only talk about direct contact, but basically all the other things we're also asking for, right? The healing
Yeah.
technology to be healed, mentally, emotionally, physically, right? Major PTSD, major traumas, mental health issues, MK Ultra programming, and then the physical component, right? Everything what Erica has been going through, others. I got hit twice by direct energy weapon,
That's a
just
that's a
November
story.
and in
So,
January. I don't want to talk about it right now.
yeah, it's the so when we talk about that, we're not just talking about we're wimps and we can't handle getting our asses kicked. No, we're talking about direct direct torture
Right.
and technological implants from the MyLabs, from the MK Ultras. Those have been placed over people
Yeah. Yeah.
since
And
childhood for many. So
right.
yeah,
And in the videos we mentioned, the one interview you did with Erica and the one we did, we go into that a little bit more. That's a separate conversation. We might also do another a video. That was the initial idea for today's podcast, right? To talk about direct energy weapons and being targeted and all that stuff, right? Plus the good news. But I think that's too much today. Don't want to focus on that today.
no, but that's up past stuff in a way.
Yeah, exactly. So, okay. Okay, so the delays, I talked about that. We talked about that. Okay. And then now the great news, right? Direct contact is coming soon. And maybe Andrea, do you want to share your perspective first and then I share what I heard? And how do we know? How do we know?
Right. So you have possible timeline, which I never give timelines because I don't trust anybody. They've given us timelines before and then out the window. And it's so I've gone up and I spoke with Val Thor. People don't know Val Thor. And also Erica's husband. And Erica's husband stopped by last evening. He said he's got some information. So he shared that with Erica, and now I'm going to share with you. But I did mention some stuff to Val about, this is getting to be, and I said it's sort of a slow motion genocide. And that actually came from Erica's husband too. I said, yeah, absolutely. That's the word I've always been looking for. And I did discuss this the other night, and moves have been placed. Leverage has, I mean, this wasn't like it was kind of disappointing. But there's a lot of, it's not just people, it's not just the GFW. That's just one small piece of this whole puzzle. There's other councils involved. This is a massive operation because this planet is such a weird situation.
Yeah.
So once they remove the negative aspects, the regressive extraterrestrials, that pretty much secured the area and made it safe for other civilizations. but it left Earth sort of holding the bag,
Yeah.
and the envoy's holding the bag. So things that we moved forward. From my perspective, sometimes a little bit of stepping on toes has to be done to the some of the ETs, but also to certainly, and Ikas knows this himself, pushing the Earth military political structures,
Right.
because they're the ones that want to drag this out. Because and we've said this over and over again, the complexity of this and the fact that the Terrans themselves did not move forward in that higher consciousness or awareness, whatever you want to call it, plan that was part of our abilities, because we had been so heavily, I think what they didn't understand was the level of targeting,
Yeah.
which
Right.
really, we and and I don't know why they don't take down the media anyway. But this ended up to be a bit of a soup.
It's happening slowly. I mean, look at X, but still. Yeah.
yeah. So yeah, I think the game has to be turned
Yeah.
on now, you know.
And maybe, Andrea, to add to that, for people who really don't know, Ralph Thor, he came 1950. You might just say one or two sentences about him. He was there
Yeah,
three,
yeah.
three
Well,
years
he was part of the original negotiations
from Venus, right?
from Venus, yeah. And not just from Venus, but he's from Venus, but it was with GFW. So they went to Eisenhower, because of course you all know United States was the NAZI, I won't use the word, NAZI Central. So he went to Eisenhower, but they had offered to bring in all this technology disclosure at that point, because they
Right.
nuclear bomb, like, you guys are going to blow your ass off, it's going to be a shit show.
Advanced
So
technology.
make a story long story short, he was here for 3 years
Yeah.
and he stayed at the Pentagon, but he also moved around to different places. I will say one thing: he did not do any sort of sleeping around stuff. So you'll this thing drives me crazy, and I just got to make a point about this. You're like, oh, Elon Musk is his grandson or son or something. No, no, no. Valthor, and I know Valthor. He's married to Jillian. They have their own children. He did not, as the Italians would say, be a cudnezzata. He did not have any relationships with any women or engage in any breeding with anyone on
Yeah.
Earth.
Yeah.
That makes my head. I just have to say that.
Otherwise, they might have not chosen him. They needed
Oh,
somebody
he's not.
by
He's not
ethical
no.
standards, code of conduct, right?
Oh, it's just common decency. No, no.
Right.
ETs just don't. Your average ET does not come down here to spread seeds. I mean, that no. That's you.
The
These
negatives did. The negative
the
ones did.
negative. That was well. They weren't
And
here to spread
forced
seeds. They were here to.
kidnapping and rape and you name
Yeah.
it, right? But the positives not, only if there is a connection or mutual consent, right? Yeah.
No, they could not, because if they that would have been, we are enemy combatants, and the benevolent ETs are enemy combatants.
Yeah.
So there is really no way they were going to be able to come down here, have a good time, and
No, there was this one woman, and by the way, also Val Thor, for people never heard of him. I mean, there's books about him, there's
oh yeah,
newspaper articles, it's very well documented. This is not just
people got to use their discernment. Use your discernment.
exactly, but I mean, this is a fact. He was here. There's enough documentation out on the internet. There was this one woman who said she had a child with a man who came visiting her with a ship. I forgot her name. Was also
There is Elizabeth Clare.
oh yeah, from Britain, right? This British
No,
lady,
she's from South Africa.
South
Elizabeth
Africa,
Clare did have a child not on Earth.
right? But
So
he came, but he was also, she reconnected. He was a twin flame, right? And he came back. She was an early envoy, basically.
yes, so she was impregnated on a ship from Acon.
That's right.
She
Yeah, you're
carried here on
right.
Earth,
Yeah,
and when she was ready to have the baby, she went to Meton. Had
right.
the baby because you cannot. They were already watched by the deep state.
Yeah,
So likely I don't know if they would have been killed or what have you. The deep state would have taken control of that situation.
right.
So this is why they don't do that. It's way too complicated. She
Yeah,
was taken back to Meton. Her body didn't adjust to Meton. She gave birth there. They kept her there as long as they could. She was going to die there. So
yeah.
she came back. The baby had to stay there. This is not a good setup. So the baby had to stay there. His name was Ailing.
Mhm.
and she came back to Earth. She was physically damaged. This is what can happen when you go up and down like that. She was physically damaged, and when she passed away, they took her. She is now living
Mhm.
with Akon on Meton and the boy.
And I think her daughter wrote a book about her story, right? And I watched the interview, the old interview on
Yeah,
radio, TV
there's
interview, old broadcast. Fascinating story.
so that's kind of stuff is frowned upon for complications and
And to your point, you're right. It's not that even a benevolent ET would just come here mate with a woman, right? And, maybe, how do you say, chase her and, hey, I'm in love with you. Do you want to come with me? No, there is a connection prior to incarnating here. That's the point we also want to make. And that's why we are envoys, right?
because there's issues, as Erica's husband had mentioned, with the extraction of the human.
I
So,
see.
you need to be extracted because it's not safe to have the baby here.
Yeah, got it.
Bring,
Yeah.
bringing them back. Yeah, it may have been done. I don't know
Yeah.
of any situations, and it may very well have been done, but it's way too complicated. So that kind of thing.
Right.
Yeah.
And again, when we talk about the delays, other reasons why there was not, direct contact because the deep state rogue agents were
Oh yeah.
everywhere and they were just too dangerous, But you talked about it also in other videos, also, it would be very dangerous for and contracts, for example, Ika signed with the Air Force, right? That he's not allowed to leave the base and all this crazy stuff, But we know now direct contact is close, right? That's what we want to go talk about. And okay, and I forgot to mention, now I would like to read the second part of the Starseed Envoy program, addendum to the Starseed Envoy program, which I've never seen. My contract that I signed, that we signed, might be very similar, So demands to improve the situation of the envoys immediately. That's our demand, okay? So Number one, if a starseed wishes to have their memories returned related to who they are, why they came, who their star family and significant other is, etc., then all of these memories will be immediately returned to enable a smooth and successful reunion between all parties concerned. Okay. And I define reunion at the beginning of the Starseed Envoy addendum to Starseed Envoy agreements. This addendum is to foster and enable the reunion, capitalized letters, between Starseed Envoys, walk-ins on Terra with their spouses, significant others, and star families off planet and on Terra. The purpose of this addendum is to override and void any limitations, restrictions, or binding conditions related to the reunion that were made by an individual starseed envoy prior to their incarnation. And now I actually added the words that I got from Aramis verse and their star families and significant others who are off planet. And he defines off planet / off Terra. Okay, good. So let's go to the next demand. If a star seed wishes to have direct communication with their star family and significant other, it will be enabled instantly using the best possible means of communication and technology without exposing the starseed to mind wiping and manipulation of their memories once and for all. Okay? Because some have implants to connect upstairs, some have telepathic through the third eye, whatever else they're going to do, whatever what is the easiest to allow this? Maybe it's a full Kundalini activation, whatever, decalcifying the third eye. I don't know. So whatever works, right? I know personally my sister, as she's doing anything only through her third eye. She does not have an implant, would be much easier. I think you too, right? You do everything.
Yeah.
It's hard. It's very hard when you telepath with upstairs and your beloved one. It's possible. Anyhow. I would prefer that also. I don't want any freaking technology in my body, you
Well,
know.
you already got it from the from the baddies.
That's right. That's right. And
Get stuff from the assholes. Right? Yeah.
exactly. We all had negative implants from negative ETs and trackers. I had them also. My husband told me they took them out. They took out, I think they were two. I don't, whatever. So this is real stuff, people. This is not, we're not fantasizing here, making shit up. And you
A lot
can,
of us recently, so we had to go back up and complain again because a lot of us were getting badly hit.
yeah,
Now
yeah.
that we're coming forward with this, the agencies are taking us down
Now,
seriously.
and look, we have no interference. We didn't have interference last time when we did the podcast.
Yep.
We had interference before when we did the Zoom calls. My sister
Yeah.
S and others, and she was telepathing with our husbands upstairs on the Galactic Federation of Worlds, one of their ships. This is all I'm saying, not more, okay? And we had interference. And I know my husband, he's sitting upstairs. She told me he's sitting in front of the holographic screen. He's securing the connection. And I asked him again, and they're watching. They know they want us to do this, and they're doing their best. And even if there's some interference, they brought the connection back. And I know, Andrea, we are protected. We are more and more protected. It still happens. It happened to me twice. I got hit by an direct energy weapon. There must many more, but these are the ones that I was told and confirmed. I had no idea. There are many more attacks in my life, but there was still, the one was didn't go well, but the other one, it didn't go through all the way. Otherwise, I might not be here, or who knows what else would have happened to me. Okay, so I'm just trying to say it's getting less and less, and very soon it's gone. You
So
know.
what they said was it was now this technology is in the hands of the three-letter agencies, but they're having their funds removed. But the operatives in these agencies are using the extraterrestrial tech to get us. So it's a more complicated for them because it's not so energetic. I mean, it's not ET tech being used in an ET manner. It's ET tech being used by Terrans in a very caveman style. So it's challenging to actually take it out.
So my information is, and I think you shared that in another video. My information is from my contacts. When we had our first video, we got the information 90% of the deep state agents, rogue
Yeah.
agents, including Men in Black, have been removed. And that was, I think, 4 weeks ago. I don't know when we had that. Now, by now, what I know from my contacts, I don't know. I'm getting 89, 98%.
Mhm.
There are now many, many more being removed. And the agencies are being defunded, people are being let go of, and you don't know what else is going on in the background. If they don't have their funds, if they take away their security clearance, if they take away their weapons, their money, they're dead. They're dead. They're gone. Most of them. Still be cautious, trust your guidance, and so forth. But we're getting very close to this is gone and it will never come back.
So,
You
so
know?
so far so good. I have it removed from me, and it hasn't come back. Has not like knock on wood.
Yeah, yeah,
So far
right.
so good.
I had stuff just being targeted last week and
Yeah.
things um 2 days ago, but this is more subtle. So I'm very aware of things. And just by the way, yeah, my voice is still not great. I'm recovering from pretty nasty cold, whatever it was. Very, very interesting. 6, 7 weeks now being sick
Oh,
and you name it. Yeah, and it was not the C thing that people think. It was something else going on with insane headaches and stuff. And it was, but yeah, don't want to go there. I'm glad a few days ago I told you I would have not been able to do a podcast. I was in terrible. And then I took also what they call the horse medicine, just in case, and that stuff helped as well. Okay. I know we have to be careful what we say here on this channel, right? On this.
I have horses, so I use ivermectin all the time to deworm my
I
equines.
didn't want to say the name, but now you
I'll
said it.
label with the chicken. So I have horses, so I have lots of ivermectin in my
Nice.
stable supplies.
Yeah, and it worked, and the healing we're getting from upstairs, and people also sending me healing. Oh, I know it. Okay, so because I was like, at some point you break, even if it goes on for weeks. You were sick with your cough and
Oh,
stuff. You could videos for
weeks,
weeks,
weeks, weeks, weeks, weeks.
right? this is just, but this is, you could say this is just one piece of the puzzle. There's so many. And then at some point you see a picture, you see a pattern here. Okay. Anyhow. Okay, good. Now let me read the last one of our demands. So, okay, we talked about direct communication. We talked about memories back. And now this is the exciting one where my husband made a comment. If a starseed wishes to have also direct physical contact with their star family and significant other / their beloved ones, it will be made possible both ways. A, the starseed will be able to travel off-planet to visit their star family and significant other with their Terran terrestrial body as they wish. This will be done consciously without being mind-wiped. The starseed will be able to access and keep the memories of those travels. B, members of the star family, and especially the spouse, significant other, will be able to visit the starseed on Terra in physical form. Memories of those experiences will be available for all parties concerned, i.e., the starseed will be able to experience, access, and keep the memories of those visitations in real time. Not like one of my sister, 2 days later, she gets the memory. She was upstairs, or he was down here. Crazy stuff, you know. And don't even very rarely do something pops in my dream or my meditation, Yeah, oh yeah, I was upstairs. Anyhow, and then see, and that's when he wrote, that's awesome. Because I talked about this physical contact, and I was like, wow, he wrote that. Okay, so in summary, any starseed agreements containing limitations, restrictions, or binding conditions related to the reunion that were made by a starseed prior to their incarnation or appearance on Terra are cancelled, null, and void. If any starseed wishes to have their memories back, experience direct contact, i.e., direct communication, including physical contact with their beloved ones, such as their spouse, significant other, and star family, it will be instantly granted, and the practice of mind wiping will be banned once and for all. Furthermore, the provisions of this addendum may be extended to other galactic friends and teams who wish to reconnect with the starseed and vice versa, based on mutual consent. So that's it. I added a few things after. This is not the latest version, and then I signed it on March 11th because I did this draft, fourth version, and I realized I never signed it. So I signed this on March 11th, 2025. And then I'm going to read to you quickly. This is what the quote unquote corrupted, the Galactic editor, that he wrote. I'm just so touched. Okay. This is the perspective from the starseed family, spouse, and the beloved ones. By the way, you might have heard I included some of these new words that he put in there, like void and beloved ones and worse. I put it in the fourth version. I did not have these words in the original document that I created. Okay, so he says, addendum to foster and enable the reunion between starseeds / starseed envoys, capital letter starseed, on Terra with their significant others and star families off planet. The purpose of this addendum is to override and void. So he added the word void. I had cancel, because, I'm German, but yeah, void is stronger than cancel. Void any limitations, restrictions, or binding conditions related to the reunion that were made by an individual starseed prior to their incarnation. And then he writes worse, period. And their star families and significant others who are off PL, period. So planet, he abbreviated it, who are off planet. And then in a new line, including physical contact. And I think that's a typo, period. Andrew union with. He meant reunion with. But Andrew, like the named Andrew union with. Maybe did it on purpose because I didn't type Andrew in my document. And then he said the beloved ones and reunion with period, the beloved ones period. Between period, starseeds slash starseed and worse, he added worse, and their star families, period, off planet, period, slash off Terra, colon.
Ah,
You can't make that up. And also the way he wrote it, and the punctuation
yeah.
and the capitalization and new words. I thought, wow, this is freaking cool, Yeah. Anyhow, okay, so that was the program. So we're almost done, Andrea. Do you want to comment on that before I continue or we
I
continue?
think if you want to do send me a picture of that, I might be able to do something with the photo.
Yeah. Okay. Cool. Cool. Okay. I will. Yeah. We can do that. Okay. Cool. Yeah. Okay. So that was the program. Explain the addendum, and so we talked about it's coming soon now. These are our demands. This is what we want. And of course, we talked about a previous video. It's about empowering the envoys. We're the boots on the grounds, but we're all here for humanity, for the Terrans. We want to help, but we needed to be treated well. Enough of the abuse and what we've been through, right? That's we talked extensively. And you talked with Erica about that. And our videos, so people can go and watch those. Okay, so now what are the benefits and compensate? What will be the benefits for the envoys? I only talked about the direct contact reunion portion here, but we will get compensated. We get the financial prosperity. Many of us been insane survival struggle, including myself, financial challenges, health issues, and so forth. So we were told the starseed and the envoys will be taken into they call it healing chambers, not med beds on off planet, okay, on upstairs. So many envoys will either be taken upstairs when they will be upstairs anyways, taken, to visit their family, and they will come down here and be taken into the healing chambers there. Those of us who came through the program, Secret Space program, as an envoy, they will be taken into the med beds, whatever they call them, in the military base. Because the Galactic Federation, right, and I know you talked about it, and Ika, they have also, together with the Earth military, they have their own bases here also, and they work side by side. Yeah, and
The healing text and the bases, absolutely.
right, they have it. And
Have
JP
it.
talks about it. If you can go, Dr. Michael Sala, JP, he talks about the med bed. You've been
It
talking about it.
was at
This is
least 2 years ago I saw that.
right. You saw it, right? And yeah, so this is confirmed, and we need massive healing, all of us. And we have more. I don't, well, I have to be careful saying that. I just not, I just feel from my observation, my envoy, sisters and brothers who I met, including my own life, extreme stuff. Because we are not just here to work, to live on this planet in this third density. We are also being in these programs. We were victims of Dark Fleet, deep state programs, and so much more that we had to go through. So it takes a toll for many of us. Okay, I'm being targeted like crazy. Okay,
Well, it
good.
actually prevents, I have a friend right now, but it happened to me my whole life, but they actually block you from getting any jobs.
Yeah, I had that. Oh my gosh, I can tell you that. It's things you cannot explain. Blocking getting jobs, my career falling apart, starting again. Oh
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
goodness.
they prevent you from ever getting a job. So
Because
it's
they want you to be poor and destroy
well, they
everything.
want you to kill yourself.
Everything.
So
Oh God.
you're an enemy combatant. So
Right. Exactly. Yeah. Oh gosh. Yeah. And that's the upsetting thing that they were allowed watching upstairs. They would only intervene, right? Worst case, if they were
worst,
just about to kill you or you were just about to take your life, that's when they come in and rescue you, put you together, and then send you back into the program.
yeah.
Right? But this is over. Enough of this. We're not going to tolerate this abuse anymore. We have, how do you say, paid our dues. We have over delivered. over delivered. All of us who came here, 100,000%. I know that. I know it. I know it for sure for me, So, anyhow, okay, I'm getting fired up. Okay, so we talked about we will get the rewards, the compensation, but and being reunited and so forth. Now, okay, so did we already talk about how do we know, Andrea, do you just want to say briefly, how do we know that direct contact is coming soon and real disclosure? Do you want to just share
Well,
just
I heard from her. I use my own sources. So I heard from Ika, and I also heard from Erica's husband.
right? And that's cool because I like it because we are corroborating, right?
What's
And
nice
there's
is that we don't tell each other the message. Um, so I also had that. I was vindicated today talking to S, your contact.
yes, right. Oh, yeah, right. She's the awesome
He
contact.
actually
And
wrote
there's
it,
a
and I said, "Well,
contact.
yeah." She told me first, and then I corroborated it later.
Yeah,
So we're not in contact directly. Of course, upstairs, you probably are always sharing,
right.
but when we share information, it's like separate.
Exactly. And that's the wonderful part, right? And then we see the others out on YouTube, one person who is apparently, the
I
voice of
don't
the.
use anybody. I'll analyze different things.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
don't.
but there are other sources out there as well. And yes, I have it from S. She's directly involved into this mission. That's why she knows. And you got your own sources. We just want to say this is not hope porn. We're not trying to hopium. I'm sorry, I didn't want to say the other
No,
word.
this
You
is
know,
this is the information they gave us. Now, if anything changes,
exactly.
they're the ones rescinding on it. We're
Right,
just offering that. And I always
right,
tell people that, live your life day to day, do your thing. And you'd be doing the same thing upstairs. You still have to do stuff. So it's that is the message they have given us now.
right, right. And I can only tell from my direct because I'm in very close contact with S. Um, that again, I think four times the deadline was moved out,
Yeah,
the
exactly.
deadline. Now we're very close. And I suppose also what Erica and her husband did upstairs might have also added as an additional catalyst.
Yeah, something had to be
And
done.
things are moving forward now, and it's not going to take as long anymore. Again, I would cautiously say, I know, Andrea, we had prior to this recording, we had a conversation. I say cautiously spring 2025. That's what I know. Don't hang your hat on it, right? As you say in English.
Well, it depends on how they're going to roll it out. You don't know what they're going to do.
Right, right. And okay, one important thing I forgot to say, I said in the previous interview, as of now, the information from upstairs is there are 250 million envoys on this planet, Starseed envoys. I don't know how many inner Earth envoys we have. And probably, some are, leaving, but many more are being born as we speak. Okay. Now, what I heard from S, 50 million Starseed envoys will have direct contact. Direct means physical contact this year, 2025. There are starseeds out there who don't even know they have family upstairs, and then there are even starseeds who don't even know their envoys, and they will be contacted very slowly through dreams and meditations, their lucid dreams. They will be contacted telepathically, and it will take a little bit longer, but they will also be contacted this year. That's why we say direct/first contact. Many of us have already some kind of contact, you know, and then for some, it's the first, but they're gonna do it. They're gonna start now, 2025, and it's gonna be a huge movement.
Yeah.
And that's also what the next talking point is. My dream or vision I have, we're here also to raise the consciousness. Only without consciousness, raising consciousness. If we still stay, right, you talk a lot about that in greed and competition and killing each other and wars. How on earth can we become galactic mature citizens? How can we have technology that will help us if there are still people mind control to destroy things instead of, if there's still greed running, people's agendas. Okay, so my dream is, I call it a love revolution. Some might take it literally. I just meant it more in a energetic or, in a more innocent way, okay? Imagine when all these starseed envoys will be reconnecting with their twin flames, their beloved ones, their families. I mean, I will tell you guys, the Schumann resonance is going to go off the charts.
Oh, yeah.
Seriously. I mean, imagine that. I mean, what kind of, this would be wow, beyond words, okay? Fireworks everywhere. It would be a ripple effect. And you cannot turn this back. You cannot turn it back, point of no return.
No.
New timeline, new era starting, you
Yep.
know? So that's what I'm excited about. Um, Okay, and then what's next? What do you think is next once people have direct contact,
Well,
Andrea?
it's and that's why I said, feed the poor, give resources to people who need resources.
Love that. Yeah.
You're not going to get rid of the greed and competition and all violence until people who are in desperate situations, which is a lot of people in this country, in the world, for sure.
Yeah.
We need food, we need healing, and
Yeah.
we need to begin clearing up the toxins that are all over the planet. We need
Right.
an army of social workers here.
Right. Right.
And that's what needs, that's why the bandit has to be ripped off. We are in slow genocide.
Right. And exactly. And as of now, and that's why I was also so upset, right? For people, if you don't know, Google Georgian Guidestones,
Oh,
right? The agenda of the deep state, and they blew off the major, there were two, right? You can look it up on Wikipedia. The agenda is reduce Earth population to 500 million.
yep.
That's what these criminals, I try to control my language, okay? What these evil beings had planned. Imagine that. And that's why I've been on this downhill slope, steep, steep downhill road, to reduce the population, reduce lifespan, and so forth. And this is now over, over, over. Okay. And so once we have first contact, right, we will get the benevolent technologies and the healing, and yes, and they will help us. I don't think we will be able to. It will take way too long. Clean up the oceans, the air,
Oh no, I can't
and
help you. No, no, no. Well,
erase
you have to.
poverty.
We'd be in constant battle with the industrial complexes that don't want any of this stuff because it's going to take. I can't be careful how I say that. It's going to take down everything you know
Right. Yeah.
because
And
everything you know is evil.
and I trust, and we can see already a lot of changes happening, and we're both in the United
Yeah,
States.
well, he's taken
Um,
down education.
Right. Exactly. Right. And we need help from upstairs, but direct help, more help than we had before. And for many of us, to my point, also what I feel is next, right? The one thing is we will have options. We're not bound to any stupid contract anymore. That's what I feel. Once I can talk to my husband, my family, we'll figure it out. What's next? I think, Andrea, you want to go back to Era, right? I feel I would like to continue building the new, I call it organic earth, okay? The beautiful new thing. But I definitely also need a vacation and I need my healing and everything, you know. Or maybe we'll go upstairs and I'll come back in 20 years again. I'll check how things are going. Who knows? You know, but yeah, but I think the important message here is also, and that's going back to giving us back our sovereignty, empowering us. That's also why we're doing these videos, these conversations. You want to empower starseeds. Wake up, guys. Take back your power, take back your rights, and reconnect, reunite, be open to it, and we will decide. We have free will. We will decide. Do you want to go back home? Do you want to be on this ship? Do you want to stay here? What do you want to do with your family beloved ones? So I think that's very, very important.
Yeah,
Um,
absolutely. Yeah,
yeah. So
we
I,
need
I
in our life.
that's yeah. And so I'm done. I have only my last words. Ria, if you want to add something else, I think I covered everything from my side.
That's as far as we are right now. I don't really have anything else to add until I get more information from upstairs.
Yeah, yeah. Okay, maybe does Ika want to add anything?
I have to kind of get it.
Yeah, 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 sure. It's okay. Take your time if you want to, if he is available.
he wants to send his love, and it's something like blessings, but it doesn't
Oh,
translate well.
thank you.
He loves everyone. We're not going to let you suffer. Oh, we've
What?
got your back.
Say it again.
We've got your back.
Yay. And we got your back as well. Thank you. He's such a beautiful, beautiful,
Oh yeah,
beautiful
he's so the complete opposite of me. I mean, he's just yeah.
boy too, you know. Yes, you are.
You
No, it's
compliment.
okay. Yeah, wow. Wow. I was just thinking a funny thought while you were asking him. Maybe I thought no more fart jokes on the planet.
Oh, don't forget. Oh, oh no, he gets.
I just had a funny thought, because I'm like him. I can't laugh about those, but it's kind of cute.
I'm gonna bring him to air. I'm gonna bring this guy called Humor Bagel. I'm gonna bring his because they're already watching it. We're
Oh
gonna,
God.
the kids will love it, and that's
Oh
gonna
no.
culture in many areas there because the
Maybe,
kids are gonna
maybe
want
they
to.
do. But
They're
it's
gonna.
good because we're laughing now. We make people laugh. I mean, we're covering a lot of serious stuff, okay? But it's so cute when you talk
They're gonna
about,
eat it up. The kids there are gonna eat it up, and this is something new. And then
okay,
that's
and
gonna.
some will watch it and some will walk out of the room. I don't connect to those, but it's
Oh, I
okay.
love it. Oh my God, yeah.
But that's so fun. It's great. It's funny. We're not all
I'll
the
put his link
same.
in the district. Yeah, it's called Humor Bagel. The guy is brilliant.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. Okay. Now, famous last words for today for this podcast from me, and then I'll hand it over to you. Um, okay. Now, uh, okay, watch the plan unfolding, the plan for real disclosure and first/direct contact of planet and potentially with inner Earth family as well. It's unfolding now and from this moment forth. Okay. I say it on purpose. This is not about trust the plan anymore. We're
Mm.
now beyond that. We are now, the plan is unfolding. It's happening. The dominoes are falling. Nothing can stop what is coming. Sounds familiar, right? You heard that before from the 17th letter. Uh, the best is here to be perceived and received. No more, the best is yet to come. The best is here. We need to perceive it and receive it. Be open to receiving and be open to perceiving it. Okay? And this is not another message of hopium. We are beyond that. We are beyond the dangling carrot. And that's also, again, a message to upstairs.
Yeah.
Okay? Exclamation mark. No more dangling carrot messages,
Oh,
keeping us waiting, 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 moving the carrot away. You get the carrot in your mouth and then pull it away again. No more. Okay? So again, watch the plan for real disclosure and direct contact unfolding with an open heart, be open to receive it and to perceive it. Yeah. That's it from my side.
awesome. Yeah, yeah. Well, so I
You're
talked to Semyasi a little bit today, and she's just fed up with this. The women are a little different. The women are spicy. So yeah, she's just like this is nonsense. Like what's happening now? And I know Val didn't say it because he's too classy, but I could tell because he's never serious, and he was serious, and he's just like this is freaking.
yeah.
No, we didn't come here to do this to
Oh,
just no to
oh,
walk away. Nope. And that and all of the people upstairs really you had a lot of resignations and stuff like that, so I mean it's because there's a force of the as always
right,
grassroots to
right.
push this forward. So the only thing I'm going to end with is I'm not an inner earth person. I don't have contacts much with inner earth. So those people who are our friends watching, yeah, if you have contacts with inner earth, let us know. Come forward. We need to get more information about inner earth. If you know someone who is who you trust talking about inner earth, send us links to that. I know some people, but they're dead. So Frank Chili. So not Frank Chili. He's alive. He's alive right now. Frank's
There's
alive.
somewhere else now. Yeah.
Right. There
incarnated
were many
selves.
people who had contacts with Inner Earth, and they've since passed. So if you know of anybody still with us who have contacts, it was a great resource, and that you trust, that we can use here, as an Inner Earth reference for people. If you yourself are an Inner Earth person, let us know. Come forward, make some comments, and that kind of thing. So basically, I'm pretty much yeah.
Yeah, me too. I think it was great. And
Okay. Until more comes in, that's
yeah, and we'll keep you posted. Yeah, okay, awesome.
yeah. And if there's anything else that people want us to talk about, and or you would like to, people watching now want to come on and talk about,
Yeah.
just hit me up, and yeah, we'll get you on the show. And or if you're not comfortable with that, we'll talk personally with you, and I can bring the information that you're looking for here. So
And they can still put their demands in your comments, right?
yes,
That's also
absolutely. The
good.
demands that upstairs,
Erica,
call it. Yep.
we take it upstairs. By the way, we'll try to get to you the Starseed Addendum, or you can write your own. It doesn't matter. Just write down what you want. Sign it and read it out loud. And what I did just sounds maybe funny, but I have now a folder on my desktop on my computer. I know he can go. He proved it to me twice. He
Well,
went
they
into
can
my
use
Word
yeah.
document, and we know what Ika, well, he was,
I
going
mean,
into
text. Yeah.
messages while we were chatting. Guys, they have access to our technology. He's now securing the connection, by the way. Thank you for that. Um,
So they have
and
read comment. They are reading the comments. That did get it actually made a huge impact upstairs. Thank you so much, everyone who stepped forward. Yeah, your happiness. I mean, you got to step forward. That's what they listen to up. If you don't say anything, it's like anything. If you don't say anything, the
yeah,
squeaky wheel doesn't get the grease. So when you
yes.
squeak enough, the people will hear you and say, "Oh, wow, you need help." Okay,
Right.
well,
And I just wanted to say for those of you who are already in contact or you have a feeling there is a spouse, a husband, wife, family, whatever. I put a folder on my desktop with the name of my husband, okay? And I put this document in there. Signed, I printed it, I signed it, I scanned it, said, here it is, please take it upstairs. So he can go in there and take it. Seriously. If
oh
you
yeah.
or put it on the table, sign it, whatever, you never know.
Mhm.
And we're just adding more grease to the squeaky wheels that we are, because that's how I love that saying. That's how we are being heard, and we are very serious. We're very serious. We're ready. We're done.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Okay, awesome. Okay.
And with
Yeah,
that, we are. And you to have a wonderful evening, and all of our friends and family who are watching upstairs and downstairs in the earth.
yeah. Auf
We say,
Wiedersehen.
yeah, we
Bye bye. Alles Liebe. Much love.
grace and gratitude, and let's get this ball rolling, right? All right.
Yes.
See you
Okay.
guys.
Bye. Bye bye.